Hey friends. A few weeks ago, one of our community members, John Ketwig, who, by the way, is the author of two fine books of memoir on his time in Vietnam and A Hard Rain Fell, and a more recent release, Vietnam Reconsidered, and Why Vietnam is Still Relevant to Us Today. Check them out. So John asked me a little while ago where I find all the stuff that I share with you all, and I thought it would make a fun little video. And as John said, that people other than him might be interested. Now, the tone of John's email, or something in the way that he asked, made me think that he thinks that I spend a lot of time going down the rabbit hole of the internet, expending a lot of energy looking for the stuff, and really I don't. I'm really not one to get too deeply into internet rabbit holes. It's just not one of those things that call me. What I do instead, though, is I allow things to come to me. So I subscribe to a number of newsletters, including one by my good friend Natalia Alvarez, who writes for The Story Matters, is her website. And I frequently share or post those to LinkedIn because she just writes incredible stuff. I mean, I know I'm biased, but I'm biased because I've learned her and I've learned how brilliant she is. And that is what started our friendship and professional collaboration, and why I find such value in her newsletter. I also get Seth Godin's newsletter, which comes out every day, and I read it, most days, as well as Notes from the Universe, which is sort of silly, but it's a nice little like boost of positivity and reminder. I more recently subscribed to Austin Kleon's newsletter. He wrote Steal Like an Artist. And as he suggests in Steal Like an Artist, I'm stealing a little bit like an artist from him because I've modeled my new newsletter format on his newsletter a little bit with a SB twist, of course. Who else? I actually pay to get the North Star newsletter and have access to that content. That's very activist focused, social activism, and it's news stories that I just don't get anywhere else. And so that is absolutely worth my $10 a month. StoryCorps on being, so I get some newsletters. And I'm always happy to unsubscribe from newsletters too, and people subscribe to mine and they unsubscribe. And I think that's a valuable thing to think about. Where are we, what's worth our time, you know? So I'm glad this is worth your time right now, and I hope it continues to be. I also listen to a lot of podcasts, and I use Stitcher for that. There are a lot of apps that will you subscribe to them and they just bring them right in. So I listen to The Breakdown a fair amount most of the time. That's also part of the North Star family, so it's very activist oriented. And I particularly like it because it ends with action steps. It's not just like, here's a thing going on, feel terrible about it. It's here's a thing going on and here's what we can do about it. So I appreciate that. I'm a hardcore fan of Malcolm Gladwell's podcast, Revisionist History. It is just brilliant. Code Switch is a fantastic podcast that gets into sort of the overlap of racial / ethnic dynamics and like everything, culture and politics and activism and health and all the things. It's really a wonderfully done podcast. This American Life, Radio Lab, TED Radio Hour, Tara Brach, On Being. There's so many good podcasts out there. I also, somewhere along the line, the homepage of my Firefox browser added this thing called Pocket. Algorithms creep me out, so it creeps me out a little bit, but gosh, it does know me, and it feeds me articles that I really like a lot of the time. Modernity, what can you do? So I get a lot of cool stuff from that. Sometimes when I'm fiddling around with nothing to do, like I'm waiting in line somewhere, I'm waiting for somebody to show up for a coffee date where I used to surf social media, I now use the random feature on Wikipedia and see what random Wikipedia article pops up. So that's kind of fun. But more than anything, my source is friends. People tell me about interesting writers all the time, great books. My friend Courtney recently turned me on to the Heavyweight podcast, and I started from episode 1, and I've been going through it, and some of those are just incredibly moving stories. Yeah, Yeah, go to a heavyweight, start from the beginning, but keep an extra eye out for the episode entitled Jesse. It'll make you cry. It'll make you cry in a good way. So who do you ask? Where do you get your interesting information? You know, be sure to thank them and be sure to pass on the interesting stuff that you find, whether it's social media or it's an email to one individual or what have you. Um, you know, when we pass on cool stuff that we find, that's a really fantastic way to reinforce our relationships with people in our network by saying, you know, I was thinking about you and I thought that you would find this interesting. In fact, here's one of my little secrets. I collect articles that I find so that when there's somebody I want to reach out to, but I feel a little antsy about it for whatever reason, I can offer the gift of something interesting. I can scroll through those and be like, oh, what do I have that that person might enjoy? So those are my secrets. It really is an automated process for the most part, and I hope that you find value in that. So I also hope you're having a wonderful day, and I would love to hear from you. Let me know where you find things and what's delighting and inspiring you these days. All right, take care.